everybody, what's up? KillJoy Jake here, and instead of having friends, I have horror movies. Took a day off yesterday because I finally got the stitches out of my foot and I also had to get a tetanus shot, so I was kind of beat up yesterday. I kind of wanted to just lay around and chill and watch horror movies. But today we have a little bit of an update on Terrifier 2, kind of a big one too, because I think director Damien Leone might have put something in this post regarding the release date of the film, which we still don't have confirmed yet. We're gonna be getting into all of that in just a second here, but first I'm gonna need y'all to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Alright, now let's get into it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Well, I'm Pennywise, the dancing clown.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast!
You son of a...
God, don't do that.
But sometimes that is better.
So yesterday, Damien Leone, the writer and director of Terrifier, he also did some of the makeup on the film, but I don't know if he's credited for that or not, but I always just like to throw that in there. He took to the Terrifier 2 Facebook page yesterday and gave us a little bit of an update on the film. In his post, Leone wrote, "Well, we officially have a rough cut, guys, and it looks effing amazing. And it's also 2 hours and 21 minutes long. You are all in for a very generous, very fresh, and very satisfying horror film that I'm sure will not disappoint." Now, first of all, I don't believe the film is actually going to be 2 hours and 21 minutes. They still have to do a lot of like editing and like cutting out, basically like trimming off the fat of a steak. This is like just a typical phase for like any kind of movie. Like they get this weird cut of the movie where it's like really long, the director's cut, so to say, and then they kind of like just trim out some stuff that's like, yeah, we don't really need that scene, we don't really need that, don't need that, and then it comes down to a 2-hour movie. It's still going to be over 2 hours long as promised in this post, but I don't think it's going to be 2 hours and 20 minutes, like maybe like 2 hours and 4 minutes. Leone continues with, "So what now? It's time to head on to the polishing phase of post-production. We will begin tackling the sound design, score, color correction, and some minor VFX. Don't worry, the gore is all practical. We are also going to keep trimming the fat and refining the film itself. Keep in mind, rough cuts are initially quite long, but I can guarantee you the final runtime of Terrifier 2 will remain slightly over 2 hours long. It's epic! Once the film is in a more presentable stage, we will tackle distribution. We're still aiming for a Halloween release, but again, it all comes down to a distribution deal. Just know we're working our asses off day and night and want it out for you guys as soon as possible." So there's just so much to break down in that one little quote there. First of all, like I was just saying, yeah, you kind of confirmed, like, yeah, they're just, you know, they're trimming off the fat here, doing some color correction, adding a score, blah, blah, blah. But it's still going to be over 2 hours long, which I've already reported in a past video. That's really exciting, of course, to see 2 hours of Art the Clown running around, where the other movie, which I think was like 89 minutes, it was a little shorter than 90 minutes, than less than a typical movie. I'm really excited to see what they do in a 2-hour film. Especially now that we have like a leading lady character who's going to be like the main focus of this entire film throughout, on top of Art the Clown, of course. Another thing that's kind of opposed to the original film that didn't really have like a final girl character or like a main protagonist. It was kind of just like a showcase of what like Art the Clown could do murder-wise. I'm really excited for this film though. Sienna looks like an epic character. She's got like that warrior goddess costume on throughout this movie, and she's just gonna be like beating the shit out of Art the Clown. I'm so pumped for this. It truly is going to be epic, I think. That's the greatest word to describe this. It's gonna be such a big improvement over the first one. Not to say that I don't like the first one. It's fucking fantastic. I mean, there are some of the most disgusting kills I have ever seen in a slasher film from the first Terrifier, and that's why I'm so pumped for this. That's why I know it's going to be great. I know it's going to be a step up. I'm so pumped for it. And like I've talked about in the past, I've actually like had conversations with the creators of these films and the people in it, and they're just, everyone is so wonderful. Everyone is so wonderful from the Terrifier crew. I just know it's going to be good. I have such high hopes for this film. I know it's going to be one of the better movies of this year. On top of that, he does mention that they're aiming for a Halloween release date. Now, as we already know, there was speculation that the film was going to come out in October, but it looks like now, and this isn't in concrete because they still have to get a distribution deal from some kind of company, but it looks like they're aiming to release this thing on Halloween, which I think would be pretty dope. I mean, this is like a Halloween movie, if anything. And of course, my Halloween video would then have to be on Terrifier because, of course. Of all the film franchises I cover, even including like Halloween, yeah, that's a Halloween horror film. You watch those movies in October, of course. But there's something about Terrifier that it just feels like a grimy, like Halloween movie. That's why I think it's perfect to release this thing in October. It's the right time to release that kind of movie. So right now I'm speculating the film might come out on October 31st or maybe the weekend before, like maybe the Friday or Thursday before that. Like I talked about in one of my earlier videos though, that's kind of when Jeepers Creepers 4 is going to be coming out, so like I don't know if they're gonna release it at the same time. Nothing is confirmed at the moment, but like my speculation is probably that same weekend. Jeepers Creepers Reborn, of course, is coming out in Germany Germany on like October 29th, which I believe is that Friday before Halloween. So I'm speculating it's going to come out to an American audience around the same time. It might give Terrifier 2 some competition. I don't know if they're gonna like release at the same time as that or like a week before that. Sometime in October, I know for sure though. And in case you haven't watched any of my other Terrifier 2 updates, let me just give you a bit of a rundown of like what else there is to know about this movie. The sequel is being described as, after being resurrected by a sinister entity, Art returns to Miles County where he must hunt down and destroy a teenage girl and her younger brother on Halloween. Lauren Lavera co-stars alongside David Howard Thornton as Art the Clown. Along with all this, he also did post like a full picture of the poster of Terrifier 2, which is just so epic. It looks dope. It literally is setting the tone of the like how epic this movie is going to be, like the battle between Sienna and Art. I definitely feel like that's going to play a major role in this new film. There's another thing I speculated on in the past, just like recapping stuff here. Damien Leone was in an interview kind of just talking about the film, and he did spoil that like this sinister entity that I was talking about in that description is played by an actual actor. It's going to be some kind of like supernatural force. This film is going to deal with that, which I think is interesting because like as he talks about like every horror film franchise or like slasher franchise in particular, they always at some point one way or another they always delve into the supernatural with their villain. And Damien basically just said like screw it, let's just do it now. Like why not? We're gonna get there eventually. Let's just take this route now. That's gonna add like this whole other layer to this movie that I think is going to be so interesting, like Art the Clown basically like not being able to die. That's really cool. I love that. I love when slashers introduce that. If it didn't feel 80s enough to you, now it is like full-blown super 80s horror slasher film basically. A few more things here to get you caught up to speed if you have no idea about anything with Terrifier 2. There's also this actor who's going to be in the new film named Elliot Fulham. He's this little kid who's really into metal. His YouTube channel is Little Punk People. He's actually subscribed to my page, which I thought was pretty cool. So make sure to check out his page if you haven't seen that already. He's going to be playing Jonathan in Terrifier 2, who is Sienna's little brother. Now there's a picture where it's Art breaking some kid's hand. Now you can't see the kid or like who it is, but my speculation is that it might be Jonathan, and that at some point in this movie, Art the Clown is gonna murder a child on screen. Damien did promise us that something was going to happen in this movie that was going to top the one girl getting cut in half scene from the first film. So if anything can top that, I would say yeah, like killing a child? Okay, there you go. That would do it, I think. Oh, and the last little bit of news here is that Terrifier 3 is already confirmed to be happening. They want to make that movie, and they kind of just want to make this like a big franchise of like slasher movies, like from the past, like I said, like 80s style. They want to make this like a long franchise full of like crazy movies where Art the Clown comes back and murders people, and it gets crazier and crazier with every sequel, basically. And now you're all caught up. I am super excited to see Terrifier 2 when it comes out in October. At some point. We still don't have a release date. Come on, Damien, give me something here. But what do you guys think about all this? Are you excited for Terrifier 2, or do you like think it's kind of whack? I mean, of course it's kind of whack. That's why you watch these movies. Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching my new Terrifier 2 update. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Just look up KillJoy Jake and I'll come up. Check out my second channel, Movie Smoothie, where I review everything that isn't horror. You can check that out by going to my little channels tab on my page here, and hopefully you subscribe. Please consider supporting me on Patreon as well if you want to see more videos like this. You can check that out by clicking on the link in the description below. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.